Are you happy? This past summer, I decided it was time to learn more about foraging. What a fun activity to incorporate into my summer adventures. Of course, I am barely scraping the surface of what is out there, but in today's video, I share some of the amazing plants that I discovered. Come along with me as I collect, preserve, and put to use these local plants, some of which are literally in my own backyard. So, I'm sure if you live in the Yukon and you're interested in foraging, you know about this book. It's kind of iconic and a Bible for foragers. I've had this book for well over a decade, I'm sure. Yeah, it came out in 2011, and I remember getting this as soon as it came out because, I've always been interested in food and local food, and I've had designs for foraging for quite some time. However, I haven't done quite as much foraging as I would like. Of course, I picked berries, I've picked morel mushrooms, but I haven't really got as much into the plants and herbs. I've definitely learned a lot about them over the years with experts that I've had in to teach to my foods classes, but I haven't actively gone out and foraged. And spring is one of the best times because that's when all the plants are super young, bursting with new growth, and that's when a lot of them are sort of at their peak for nutritional value. It just really astounds me, like when you think about like the First Nations that lived around these areas pre-contact with, the Europeans or non-First Nations. They had everything they needed at their fingertips to cure any sort of illnesses. And a lot of what they did was preventative medicine by accessing these plants. And I just think it's amazing that, we have everything we need in this area to survive and to thrive. So I think, adding these things to your diet is really powerful. I just harvested a bunch of spruce tips. Well, both Jamat and I did yesterday and today. And one of the things they said you could put them in was smoothies. So I decided to try it out. And the spruce tips blended in really well. There's like no chunks. There's no like texture. It's a completely smooth smoothie. And it's actually really nice. It's kind of like foresty. When I taste it, all I can taste are like the blueberries. And then the spruce is just like a nice little finish. But it's like not like an overpowering, heavy, like intense spruce taste. It's like quite light and refreshing. So I've had a pretty bad cold the past week. I'm kind of trying to get as much of this into me as possible. I had some tea. I made some tea with the spruce tips this morning with a little bit of honey. It was really mellow in taste, but yeah, it was quite refreshing. So right now I've got 3 trays in the dehydrator. I dehydrated the larger ones just so they wouldn't fall through the holes in the tray. And then I bagged up the rest into 1 liter freezer bags. And I've got 3 of those and then a little bit left over that I'm leaving in the fridge just to use. All right, so obviously with a spruce tree, you can use many parts of it. Inner bark, needles, tips, pitch, and twigs. You can harvest, the best time is springtime. Well, and of course for spruce tips, I think spring is the only time. But you can get pitch any time of year. The Medicinal Actions, so it's an analgesic, antifungal, antimicrobial, antiseptic, and disinfectant. Medicinal preparations, so you can use it to make cream, essential oil, foot soak, hydrosol, infusion, liniment oil, poultice, salve, steam, syrup, tea, and wash. I know a lot of people use the pitch. They use it as gum. They use it as a lozenge. They make salves and poultices, for sort of topical things. It's used a lot for ingesting as well. So specifically about the spruce pitch, or the spruce tips, sorry. Spring spruce tips and pitch can also be of benefit to the skin when used topically. Fresh or dried spruce tips are also excellent for lung congestion when used in a tea or steam. Spruce's antiseptic properties help with pneumonia, whooping cough, and croup. As a liniment salve or oil, spruce works well for joint and muscle pain. So basically, the spruce tree is like the superhero of all plants. Here are some food uses. Springtime spruce tips are tasty and very high in vitamin C. They can be eaten raw, made into tea, or added to salads, stews, and soups. The tips are famous for their use in making spruce tip jelly. The tips can also be soaked in oil to act as a base for salad dressing or cooking. And then the nutritional profile: beta-carotene, starch, sugars, and vitamin C. I think this smoothie is going to be what cures my cold. So, I would say the spruce tips are my first foray into foraging for this year. As I was looking through this book, though, I was looking at some of the different plants, and I recognized a lot of the plants because just recently I was in a tea blending workshop, and one of the plants that they used locally was horsetail. And horsetail is excellent. It has silica in it, so it's excellent for collagen production, which, if you're getting to be a bit middle-aged, as I am, it's really good for your skin, your hair, your nails, all that kind of thing. The next task for our foraging adventures is to collect some horsetail. The wonderful thing about horsetail is that I have a very large supply right in my yard right over there, so I don't have to go far. In any case, harvest time, early summer, that's where we're at. It says it's important to look closely at the plant to see if there are crystals on it. Significant deposits of calcium oxalate accumulate on the inner walls of the stems, making them good for scouring dirty camp pots, but not good for the kidneys. When its branches are pointing up, they are prime for picking for medicinal and food purposes, but be warned, downward pointing branches are an indication that the plant has developed oxalate crystals. This said, harvesting the plant anytime throughout the summer to make a herbal shampoo, hair rinse, or foot soak is not only safe, but a wonderful treat. All right. Medicinal Actions. It's an astringent, a diuretic, it's styptic, and vulnerary. I don't know what that means. I'll have to look it up. Okay, food uses. That's mostly what I'm interested in. The spring budding shoots of the antioxidant-rich horsetail can be used as a steamed vegetable or tea. They are high in many minerals, including calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. So that's what I've had horsetail in mostly before was tea. So I would like to dry some for tea, but I'd also like to try it sauteed up or steamed. Nutritional profile. So acids: absorbic acid, calcium, carotene, iron, magnesium, niacin, phosphorus, resin, riboflavin, silica, starch, sterols, tannins, and thiamine. Oh yeah, so under the medicinal section, it says horsetail stems are rich in silica, which helps our bodies to form collagen, an important protein found in connective tissue, skin, bone, cartilage, and ligaments. Because of this, horsetail is helpful in mending broken bones, treating and preventing osteoporosis. Okay, I definitely want to do that. And as a general tonic to keep the framework of the body healthy. Herbalists also recognize the diuretic properties of horsetail. When prepared in a cup of tea, ingested as a juice, or taken in a capsule, it promotes urination and is a remedy for bladder and urinary tract infections. It also helps heal stomach ulcers and remove kidney stones. Horsetail also strengthens the bladder wall. A warm horsetail poultice can be applied to a fresh cut to help stop bleeding. A poultice or tea benefits fractured bones, sprains, or rheumatic conditions as the silica helps increase bone density, and this makes it a supportive therapy for osteoporosis. I feel like this is an excellent plant to have in your pantry and in your collection, especially for women and especially for women who might be reaching perimenopause or menopause, as I will be coming upon soon, if not already. All right, well, let's get out there and see what we can find. How awesome is it that I can walk out my door and literally in 20 feet have a whole field of horsetail to harvest? So let's go check this out. Hey, pup. So here's what I'm talking about. It's like all over here and then all over here. And as I check it out, I can see that most of it, the little branches are still sticking up. So that's good. It means that the oxalates have not started to form in the stem. Of course, as soon as I came out here, it started to rain. So I'm gonna have to do this somewhat quickly. I'm basically cutting my grass right now, so it's like a 2-for-1. I was surprised because when I was researching this plant on the internet, most of the search results came up explaining how to get rid of this plant in your yard and recommending pesticides. What the heck? I wonder if I just... Oh, I can just pick these off. They come apart really easily. Oh, that's way easier. Okay, that's all we can get for today. It's raining. Come on. The dehydrator's been getting lots of use. This evening, I am making some horsetail capsules. So, as I've mentioned earlier in this video, over the summer I collected some horsetail and I put it in my dehydrator, and I was going to initially add it to some tea, but I'm not like a huge tea drinker all the time, so I was thinking, how else could I get the health benefits from the horsetail? And so what I'm gonna try to do, and I just wanna make an important disclaimer here that I am by no means a plant expert or doctor or nutritionist or any of these things. So this is purely an experiment, but what I've done is I've ground up some horsetail and I'm going to make some capsules, which will be little sort of, hopefully, healthy supplements that I can take. I ordered these empty capsules off of Amazon, and basically they arrive empty, and you take the cap off and then you fill the big part with the crushed up medicine or herb or plant or what have you, and you pack it in with your finger. I'm sure there is a more efficient way to do this, but like I said, I'm no expert. And then you fill it up and you put the lid on it, secure it, and there you go. The fireweed is the official flower of the Yukon and can be found throughout the territory. This flower is a source of vitamin C and A and has anti-inflammatory, anti-irritant, antimicrobial, and antiseptic properties. The plant is edible during all stages of growth. I had never collected the shoots before, but had heard that they taste like wild asparagus, and so I decided to try it out. It was surprisingly easy and abundant. These are our fireweed shoots. Look how thick that one is. It's a big mama jumma. And about this far down from my finger up to the top leaves was sticking out of the ground. And this all came out of the ground. So that's actually quite crunchy and tender and full of flavor. So yeah, they're all different sizes, but these look fantastic. So we are gonna wash these up, and then I think we're gonna saute them in a little butter, salt and pepper, and yeah, just they will go with our dinner tonight. Yum, yum. I'm wondering if I should peel these a little bit, or if they'll soften up. They'll soften up when I fry them. So I don't really want to waste any. So, but the smaller ones seem to be a bit more tender. But I think what I'll do is I'll just sort of peel this outside layer off of these big ones. But it comes off really easily. It's just kind of like an outside part with lots of fibrous strands, I guess you would call it. I don't know if you need to do this. I'll probably, because it's my first time doing this, I'll probably just peel some and I'll leave some the way they are, and then I'll do a taste test. All right, these are washed, and I think we're ready to go here. Okay, so just getting these shoots ready. So the idea is I've washed these off, I've gotten off all the dirt. I'm also going to sort of separate them into thicker ones and thinner ones, because I think the thicker ones will take a bit longer to cook, but I don't want the small ones to be like super wilted. So I'll throw those in a bit after. It's requiring a little bit of organization, but you know, I just want to give this a fair chance because I have not tried these before, and I don't want to, you know, be disappointed because they're overcooked or peeled or not. So we'll see. It's all a big experiment at this point. These are like beautiful colors. And I think they just taste so crunchy and fresh. And yeah, I'm just really excited to try these. One of my Facebook friends, shout out Michelle, she was harvesting some, and she was definitely an inspiration for me to get out and see what is out there. Man, there's like a whole grocery store out there, especially this time of year in the spring when everything's shooting up and everything's fresh. So there we go. We have got our shoots. These are the thinner ones. There's some thicker ones in here that are unpeeled, and then these are the peeled, thicker ones. Okay, we'll throw these thicker ones in first. We'll throw the peeled, thicker ones in. Give those a minute, and then we'll throw in the rest. I think we'll throw these in now. Give them a little toss. A little salt. A little pepper. Shoot it with a bit of water to steam it. I don't want to overcook it, so I'm just going to give it a try. Oh, I think those are good, actually. And turn it off. I'm going to load these onto the plate. They kind of changed color a bit because they were quite red before cooking. And now they've sort of turned green. That's interesting. So they've lost a little bit of their vibrant color. I think you can also eat these raw, though. I mean, I certainly have in the field. And then you can also steam them. So I'm not sure what the best way is, but we'll try. So bringing these over here. You know what? It tastes a lot like spinach to me. I'm just going to give a little squeeze of lemon juice or brighten it up a little bit. A little salt, a little pepper. Not in that order. Clean up the plate, and there we have it. Okay, so we're going to try this out. Oops. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig for, so this is a bigger stalk that has been peeled. Super tender. Not bitter at all. This is one that hasn't been peeled. So I'd say that the one that hasn't been peeled has a slightly bitter aftertaste, but like still like not overpowering. The tops are really good. Really good. I've got a fork in this hand, but I'm using my fingers, so sorry about that. Yeah, it kind of has like steamed, like spinach vibes. Like not as slimy, but it's actually really good. You better try some of this, babe. Well, if there's one thing I'm learning about foraging, it's that no one plant is in its prime for very long. And our season is so short here that as soon as the opportunity arises, you have to seize it or you might miss out altogether. So these wild rose bushes have just bloomed in the past couple days, and they're already starting to look like they're fading a bit. So I'm gonna pick a few. I think my plan is to they're so delicious just to eat. I mean, you could sprinkle them in a salad. I think what I will probably do is dehydrate them a bit longer of a life, and then I will maybe use them for teas. See what I did there? I stripped the whole flower of petals, and then I learned that you do not do that. You see, the pollinators won't go to that flower if there's no petal. So leave at least one petal on each flower. Lesson learned. Such a delicate, lovely flavor. All right, I best get picking. You want to try this rose petal trick? I was reading in my book that rose petals are excellent for the skin, that they can take the heat out of wounds and stop inflammation. That inspired me to chew up some petals when I was out in the bush to make a sort of poultice with mashed up petals to treat itchy bug bites. And guess what? It worked. It's my new party trick. Where are your bug bites? Grab a petal, chew it up into a little pulp, and then put it on your bug bite. I might put some on my feet, actually. They're kind of itchy. These ones here have been just drying on some parchment paper for the past week. And then these ones I just collected today, just when I was out and about. So you can see how they really do shrink as they dry.
I got two right here.
Wild strawberries can be pretty hit or miss around here. It all depends on the rain and sunshine. This year they were pretty decent. Great for a snack while you're out for a walk. Yummy! Wild strawberries contain calcium, copper, fiber, folate, iodine, iron, magnesium, manganese, omega-3 fatty acids, potassium, vitamin A, C, B2, B5, B6, and K. Of course, they can be used in all sorts of food configurations, but they don't last long, so you gotta eat them quick. This summer, we had the chance to visit some very dear friends at their summer house. They have amazing gardens and also forage actively. One of the treats that we tried was the amazingly refreshing bush tea, which is made by throwing some yarrow, plantain, wild chamomile, rhubarb into a pot and just letting it simmer throughout the day. These plants all have incredible medicinal actions and are full of nutrients, too many to mention here. I will leave a full breakdown in the description of this video. Amazing that they can make this nutritionally packed infusion just from plants growing around their yard. It's blueberry season. These are quite decent sized. Bloobs. We ran into this abundant patch of blueberries on our way back from Skagway. It was pretty rainy that day, so we didn't pick more than we could just eat at the time. I'm really regretting that decision now. Well, I didn't leave the house yesterday. I just got back from a trip with some students and I was just exhausted. And honestly, I could just stay home today and do some laundry and do some stuff around the house. It's not very nice out. It's raining. But as you can see, fall has come really fast. And if I don't get outside and do something, it's going to be winter before I know it. So I'm going to go looking for some cranberries today. Stan, get in. Get in. Up. All right, well, let's get going. Found some. Lowbush cranberries are perhaps one of my favorite berries to pick, and that's because they're fairly tart, so I don't eat them all while I'm picking. I actually get some into the freezer to use over the rest of the year. They say that they are best harvested after the first fall frost. That makes them sweeter and a deeper red color. I like it when they just hang off the edge here. Easy picking. These ones are pretty small and they're not plentiful, so that leads me to believe that either this isn't the best spot or it's already been picked over, so I think we're going to continue our search. I love putting cranberries into my baking, muffins, coffee cakes, banana breads. Some people even put them in their butter tarts, which are delicious. And of course, cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And even in smoothies, they'll add a nice punch of tart vitamin C. We are out for a snowshoe today. And while we're at it, we're going to try to collect some pitch. And that about wraps up our year of foraging adventures. I'm super happy with everything that we were able to discover, and it was so interesting to learn about all the amazing plants that I've been surrounded with my whole life but never really thought about or paid much attention to until now. It truly is amazing the medicines and nutrition that we can get in our very own backyard. And in all honesty, we've really just only barely scraped the surface. I'm already looking forward to next year and discovering more of what is out there. Thanks for watching.
Come on, take Tara.